And today I'm sitting here with Christina. Christina, we've known for quite some time now. She's done a lot of cool shit with us. And the other day, Christina shared a really cool success story, and I just love this stuff. And so I asked her, I said, hey, we've been doing these videos. Would you like to do one of these videos? And she said, absolutely. So we're just going to dive in.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I just want to acknowledge you, and I just love your work. And so I originally found you. I'm Christina, by the way, and I'm a very curious person. So I'm always kind of looking to discover something more and expand. I've always been this way. And so I guess it was about 2017 when I found Neville. And I was in a law of attraction since about 2005, where, there wasn't much out there at that time. I read Conversations with God and what's the other, Course in Miracles, and, got into Wayne Dyer and all of those. Those were like at that time, the kind of new way of thinking. And Hay House Radio was really the only thing out there. And I was really taking a lot of that in, and it changed my world. And I was following this group for a long time, and it got to a point where it was like, okay, I'm not expanding anymore. I'm not learning anything new. What there's a limit here. I need to expand more. And that's when I found Neville. And I just dove into his work. And I was like, this is the missing piece. But I still wasn't quite getting it. And of course, around 2018, I went into his lectures, the books, everything, loved it. And I found your channel just kind of, looking around on YouTube, and I was like, who are these people? And I was so confused. I was so like, because there was a few other people teaching it as well at that time, and they were slightly different. And I was like, I'm not getting this at all. I don't know who these people are. And, there's a little bit of crassness that I'm not really sure about. And I was like, I don't know, man, the dogs stuff. And clearly that was my stuff, clearly that was me not getting it. And I just didn't understand. I was like, what did he just say? What does he mean by that? Buying peanut butter? I just don't get this. So I kind of stepped away for a few years and just listening here and there. And I would catch little things like the buying peanut butter and the buying petrol and those little nuggets. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm starting to get this. How would I buy petrol if I had all the money I wanted, if I had the income? And so it started luring me back. And then last year, I went off again onto these other channels, and it's changed. It's definitely changed what's out there. It is kind of warped a little bit and watered down, I guess you could say. But I fell into the trap, and these instant, manifestations in 24 hours. And I fell into all of that. But ultimately, it only went so far again. And that's when I really went back to your work. And I noticed an evolution in me and in your work, and about understanding that we are love. It's not beautiful. About sending anything. It's not about giving anything. It's that we are this at our core. And that's really what I learned from you over this last year, really diving into all of the work. So, and that's where I come from.
It makes all the difference. So I love your journey to get here. It's so real. I can so relate. I used to have all the same books. So I totally remember the early 2000s, just big time. So you eventually bought some stuff. What did you buy? What did you join? And were you skeptical before you did?
Yeah, I definitely was skeptical because I tried so many things. I've done I did the plant medicine journeys, the ayahuasca, I've done the San Pedro, I've done it all. Energy work, I was a healer, yoga, everything, crystals, everything. And I was like, gosh, do I really need to spend more money on this? And I got to a point where I was like, I'm missing something. There's still something that I'm not seeing. So there's still more for me to invest. And so I think I reached out to you and I was like, okay, I'm buying something. I'm definitely diving into something, but I don't know what to dive into
Beauty.
first. And I was looking at the Joseph Goddard because I really got the Joseph Goddard. That changed my world. Whenever I hear you talk about the Joseph Goddard work, his technique,
Right.
and the coffee game, those were like, I was like blown away with those. And those are in my daily practice every morning when I wake up. And it's changed who I am. And so I think I reached out and you gave me some tips on, how to navigate a little bit. And because I love the Pearl Power Pack too. I was looking at that and Manifesting Mastery. And I think you kind of just explained them a little bit further. And I knew it was Manifesting Mastery that I wanted to go with. So I invested in, the $100, which are $97. And well worth it. I've started it a few times since then and since doing the 90 days. And yeah, it just really kind of clarifies everything and clarifies the work.
Nice. So what made you go ahead and buy? Was there an inner feeling? Was there a nudge? Like, was it just a
Yeah.
finally I get something?
Yeah. I think it was the Joseph Goddard, the podcast that you were doing. And I
Right.
was like, I really want to understand this. It piqued my curiosity. And I was starting to see immediate results with only the information that I got. And it's, and I knew you were going to get into it in Manifesting Mastery a little bit. And so I thought, okay, well, this is a way that I can learn this more and everything else, because it does cover pretty much all of it, on a daily basis, how you would use it on a daily basis. And I think that's the piece I was missing,
Beauty.
was really bringing this to that daily practice.
When you make it about your day and you make it about your daily practice, suddenly the whole impending doom and having endless drama and trauma to fix, they all go away. And I can see it in you. Yeah, as we're sitting here, it's like I can see that you're no longer living drama, trauma, intending doom, feeling like a fraud or a fake or whatever, but really getting your real essence. Your real essence is God. Your real essence is love.
Yes. Yes.
So, so so what happened? You did all this. You posted up something really cool recently. What's a result that you want to share with us today?
Yeah, I think it's just, my days are just, I even though I'm doing the Joseph Goddard work and you're creating your day first thing, and things just unfold so much more beautifully than even what I'm doing in my Joseph Goddard. So it was kind of a spontaneous trip that I had an opportunity to take with one of my best friends that I grew up with. She's in Miami Beach, and her brother had moved to Ecuador. And
Right.
we were supposed to go a couple of years ago, but it didn't work out. And she presented it to me again. And I had like 2 weeks to, get it all set up. And everything just kind of fell in place. I didn't stress. Ecuador and I'm in upstate New York right now, is not easy to get to from upstate New York. You pretty much have to go to Miami and then go. But with her living there, it was easy for me to just go there, take a day. It was it just worked so beautifully. And I couldn't have dreamt of a trip it wasn't on my list to go to Ecuador, but this place was so beautiful and so magical. I mean, I want to spend more time there. And that wasn't even on my radar before. So that's what was really beautiful, and the people and the connections I made. And I don't think I would have seen that if I had gone on this trip 2 years ago,
Right.
because I
Beautiful.
wasn't in that place of love. I wasn't seeing myself as love. So, of course, everything was going to be connected in love. And that's exactly what happened. And not only that, coming back, just some things that recently happened. Some job opportunities presented themselves. And, I owned a restaurant and I kind of put that aside. I thought, well, I'm not that person anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. And I went out to a bar in Miami. I had a wonderful conversation with the bartender about, wine, and turns out he was the buyer and he was asking for my advice and what his wine list. And so we're connecting this week and I'm giving him some suggestions. And then another restaurateur in the town that I had my restaurant in, he remembered me and he reached out the next morning and has an opportunity for a new place he's opening up, and, is presenting an opportunity to me to possibly work with him. So I never would have even thought of that.
It's wonderful. I'd love where you're sharing from and how this is flowing, because to me, you stop looking for love. You stop seeking love. In the course, we peel away the layers of the onion so that you can realize what you are is love in the
Yes.
moment. And then the beauty and the flow just give to everything that you do.
Yes, absolutely. And this is what really is that missing piece that I have been seeking for all of those years, is that, and that is the key, is to really, really embody that love that you
Yes.
are.
Yes.
It's
So,
nothing
so
outside of us. It's nothing that is, we have this kind of this warped sense of the term of the word love, and that it's something we give, it's something we share, it's something you're automatically doing that if you are in that state.
when you know, you know. And when
Yeah.
you know it, yes. So let me add, so for me, the whole point of Manifesting Mastery course.com and the programs is this. It gives you all the goodies, but it reveals that you are the goodness. So my last question is, who would you suggest dive into it? Manifesting Mastery and the other products you've picked up, who would you suggest just needs to go ahead and do it?
I think anyone who is seeking, anyone who is ready to really understand who they are, who they truly are, knowing that you create from this state of being love. And I just think anyone who is willing to do that work, because it's not all about just, manifesting in 24 hours with affirmations. That it's not sustainable. You're in your head. You're in your head. You're not in your body and in who you truly are. And yeah, it does help. Yeah, it does work, but it's not sustainable.
I love how you put that, because you end up in your head instead of realizing and remembering and noticing from your awareness of beingness is God. The head
Mm-hmm.
wants to control it all, and we get to contribute to it all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think that was one thing that you also teach that really, really struck me was, when you're in your head and you start asking questions. You're asking
Yeah.
questions like, well, how does that work? And how does this work? And how did you manifest that? And how did you do this? And how did you do that? That's when I stop, because I do, when these daily sessions in Manifesting Mastery, I would always come out with all of these questions. And the second time I did it, I had heard you talk about when you're in your head, you're asking all these questions. And I thought about that and I noticed it. I was like, oh, okay. So, it's sitting back, getting into your body, understanding that you are divine in love. And then it all starts to make sense. It just, it just happens. It's not anything you have to do.
Perfectly put. Christina, I just want to thank you for our time together, for sharing you as you have, and most of all, yeah, from going from this this lovely seeker that emailed me
Yeah.
to moving from that state of seeking to the state of seeing, the state of being.
Mm,
And I remember those early emails and stuff, like to me it is there's no bigger honor than sharing in someone's shifts, successes, and this peeling away of the onion that reveals the love we are.
hmm.
So I just want to thank you for taking the time today and sharing this with the people, because I know how this blesses people. And
Yes.
thank you
And
so
I
much.
so appreciate you and Victoria and all of the work that you're doing. And it really, I wish everyone could just see it. And because I think the world would be such a much better place.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
And